Hello, my wily artists. This is a very neat origami face. Well, today, you guessed it, we are doing origami. And many of you have already probably know how to do some of this, but that's okay, it'll be a good review. And then I can see what good skills you have. Okay, let's get started and let's learn about an artist named Quentin, who is an amazing origami folder. Let's watch.
If I, for a split second, show you a photo of an elephant and I ask you, what did you see? You'll probably say, well, I saw an elephant. But then I'll say, okay, but what feature of this elephant was the most attractive to you? Was it the long trunk? Was it the big tusks, the big ears? What was the first thing you saw? My inspiration comes from that. I would look at a subject and I would see one part of it. So the trunk would be the starting off point, and then I will kind of build the rest of the design around that. The word origami is a Japanese word that's made out of two words called oru and kami. Oru means to fold, and kami means paper. So essentially, origami means to fold paper. The type of origami that I practice is more a complex type of origami. So I always start off with one square piece of paper, and only by folding it do I get to the final result. I got into origami when I was maybe 7 years old. My dad bought me a book about origami. I was hooked on that almost immediately. This was way back in South Africa before the days of internet. You know, you go to the library and there may be one, maybe two books available on origami. And then in around 1995, we got internet at home. I saw on Amazon that there's hundreds of books, but it didn't take long. I could pretty much fold most things on my first go without struggling. And that's when I thought, I think the next step is going to be to start designing my own origami. A few years later, when I was about 25, 26, when I went to England, was the first time that I actually ever met anybody else that had done origami. My whole life I was just a lone folder, if you want to call it that. And I was at a convention in England and I showed some of my designs to some people and they thought I had a bit of a talent. And that's when I met some publishers and the idea of publishing a book on my designs actually became a reality. But I'm sure that if you ask any origami enthusiast, they may know who I am. Most people that do origami, they just get instructions and they fold. They get a lot of joy out of the activity of folding. Few people do design, origami design, and very few people do complex origami design. People say to me, how do you design the stuff that you make? So the initial steps will all probably be based on geometry, but then at the end, there'll be a lot of free folding involved where you're not necessarily lining up edge A with edge B. You need to use intuition to get to the result that you want to get to. Origami has evolved. Initially, the piece of origami mainly conformed to the silhouette, but nowadays that is not enough. You want to do as much with that design as possible. Can you add facial features? Can you add teeth? Can you use the color of the subject to your advantage? For instance, a panda bear will not be a panda bear if it's not black and white. A tiger will not be a tiger, it could be a mountain lion. if it does not have the orange and black stripes. And the only way to do that is to start off with the paper that is one color on one side and a different color on the other side. To use the panda as an example again, you will use a piece of paper that is black on one side, white on the other side, and then you have to manipulate this piece of paper so that the colors end up where they need to be, because otherwise it would not be a true representation of a panda. I think in any type of art, it's important to try and create your own style. You don't want to mimic something that somebody else is already doing. I do not really fold from diagrams anymore, so the only influence in my origami art is really myself. I mainly get inspired by nature, so I enjoy folding mainly animals, mainly mammals. The thing that I like about mammals is that they've got different facial expressions, they've got different personalities, body position. If you actually go and study your subject, you can learn slight little differences that you can apply into your design to distinguish one bear from another bear. And that's what I tried to do with this grizzly bear. Focus on the massive head and the detail of the head and the big lower jaw and the shoulder hump, which is something that makes it a grizzly bear instead of just a bear. The thing about origami is, like many things where you're creating something, it's kind of therapeutic almost. In the case of origami, you're creating something almost out of nothing. Something as simple as a square piece of paper can become almost anything in your hands. It's just something you do for yourself.
Today's target is I will learn about texture so I can imagine how my puppet feels. Wow, that artist Quentin was a fabulous origami folder. Okay, now that you have your supplies in front of you, I'm going to show you how to make an animal. Now you can make an animal, a monster, an alien, anything you want. I just made a bear, and I'm going to show you how to make a frog. But go ahead and make whatever you want to do. We're just going to do a basic origami fold, and many of you may have already done this, and that's great. Show me what you know. Okay, we're going to fold the bottom corner of a piece of paper to meet the left side. Fold over the top flap and cut that off. Let me show you. So take this corner, fold that up and make it as even as you can with that side, and we're going to put a nice crease down the middle, and you'll see this flap right on the top here. We're going to fold that down and crease it, and then we're going to cut that off. So go ahead and cut that piece off. And again, if I'm going too fast, pause the video. So cut off that flap, and you can use that piece of paper for decoration for your origami, or just set it aside for another project. Okay, next we're going to unfold this, and you can see that made a mark in the middle. Now we're going to do the opposite direction. Bring the bottom corner up to the opposite top corner, just like that. Then when you unfold it, you will see an X in the middle of your square. So let's open it up, and you will see an X, just like that. It's 4 sections. The next part, you're going to fold the corner up to the center point and crease it. So we're going to take one corner, and you can see there's kind of an imaginary middle there. Fold another corner and touch that, just like that, and crease it. And we're going to do all 4 corners. And our square, you'll notice, is getting even smaller. Okay, just like that. Now we're going to press those creases down, and we're going to flip the entire thing over. Just like that. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to put a little mark in the middle so you can see what I'm doing. And you can put a mark in the middle too if that helps you. And we're going to do the same thing on that side. All four corners is going to touch that dot. I had so much fun with this lesson. I did many of these origami folding. And I made different things with them. So feel free to make more. You don't have to make just one. You can make more. Okay, so now I have that completed. We're gonna fold that now in half. So flip it over, fold it in half. Open it up and fold it in half the other way. That's just making our creases nice. We can put our fingers in it. There you go. So there's two sides. One has flaps, and that's where our finger and our thumb's going. And the other one has bigger flaps. We want the one with 4 smaller flaps. So you can stick your finger in one and your thumb on the opposite direction. And make sure those are all staying in there. And do the same thing on the other side. And close it together just like that. And you'll see almost looks like a diamond. And if I move my fingers up and down, it moves. Now is where you can do your decorating. I found when I practiced mine, it's better to leave your origami up like that. So here's my examples. I made a bear on the top. Again, make whatever you can or whatever you want, but notice my texture lines on my bear. I want to have the illusion that this is real. So right now I'm going to make the frog. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave this origami shape like just upright. And I know it's kind of hard to draw on it, but do the best you can. What I noticed is if you make it flat, sometimes your picture doesn't come out as well as you'd like. But if you have a way to make it flat and draw it, go ahead. But I went ahead and I'm just leaving it up just like that. And I'm just going to do a rough sketch of my animal. And after I do my rough sketch, I'm going to go through with my marker. And then at that point I can lay it down because I'll see where my rough sketch lines are. And then you can go through with a marker, and then you can go through and color it. So I cannot wait to see what you guys have come up with. I'm going to have so many different animals or aliens or monsters, whatever you want to do. I also, real quick before I let you go, I used a piece of construction paper for ears for my bear. Feel free, if you want to cut out other pieces of paper and color that to make more kind of a 3D effect, you go ahead and do that. This is totally up to you. If you want to make more than one of these, please do. I would love to see your creation. Make sure you add detail and lots of color. Okay, that was so much fun. Now that I'm all done, If you want to put on a puppet show and record it, I would so love to see it. Okay, friends. Okay, artists, make sure you send me your wonderful origami creations. I cannot wait to see. Okay, bye-bye for now.